A year ago, I changed my college major to computer science. This is pretty much everything that I've learned in the past year.
Introduction to Programming. This class was the bridge to all the other programming classes I've taken thus far and was a prerequisite to pretty much anything else computer science related. This class required me to familiarize myself with Python. We went over basic syntax and some computer terminology, but didn't really code anything until the second week of classes. That's when I downloaded PyCharm and made my first program. It was pretty cool to see that I had the ability to tell computers what to do. Then I quickly realized how easily and quickly a single typo can destroy a program's functionality. I learned that computers are very stupid in this regard. I learned that I was really stupid when it came to coding. This is also when I discovered the monolithic prevalence of computer programs that run around us without us really realizing it. We take a lot of computer code for granted. Next, my first assignment started rolling in. The first major one was building a number guessing game that would generate a random number that had to be guessed by the player. The game had to take input from the user, track a high score, the number of tries the player took to guess the number correctly, and have a way to exit the game. Stressful tasks require critical thinking skills. I ended up making the game with about 100 lines of code, and now I cringe looking back at all the redundancies in the code I wrote. I guess that's growth? As the semester continued, more assignments, more computer theory, more exams, and more errors. Our final had to do with objects. We had to make a program that read info in from a file, set member variables within an object equal to the information being read in, and output all the information from the object, including calculated averages. I went insane trying to figure this out for a while, but ended up passing the final with an A. I ended up passing the whole class with a B. Linux Administration. My Linux admin class started in the second semester of me taking computer science-oriented courses. The course began with simple stuff in terminology and getting familiar with virtualization. VirtualBox forced me to get a loaner laptop for my university because my MacBook didn't support Ubuntu at the time. Thanks a lot, Apple. The first few weeks involved getting comfortable with the Linux operating system, especially on the terminal where most of the coursework was conducted. Simple CLI commands like ls, echo, change directory, cat, grep, vi, nano, print working directory, and others were ingrained in our minds. Soon after, we made some of the most primitive scripts, like simple ones reading input and comparing values. But this wasn't it. We learned about cron tabs. Now our scripts could run in the background of our machines, and I learned of the applications that cron tabs are utilized. Semester continues. More homework, more Microsoft DOS, more Unix, more labs, more soft links, more hard links, more run levels, more terminology, and more IP addresses. Speaking of which, the networking portion of the course is by far the closest I've come to going full Joker. During this period of time, we had to learn about subnetting, routing, RIP, and other networking stuff that I really don't remember too well. However, the biggest takeaway from this class was that I didn't want to go into IT. That was pretty much the biggest thing with this class. But people in IT make good money. Hats off to you if you're in the field. Data structures and algorithms. This is by far the most advanced class I've taken so far in my computer science journey. This class introduced me to Java, the programming language to which I am now the most accustomed to. As the course name describes, this class largely revolved around data structures and making problem-solving algorithms with a focus on efficiency and O notation. Yep, big O. This one was rough. The first few weeks of the semester were just going over Java syntax, which, coming from Python, made me question why Oracle had goofy syntax comparatively, but it grew on me after a while.
Why is it system.out.println to print something? Why not just print?
But getting familiar with the syntax of Java was just the beginning. Week 4 is when we got into the real meat and potatoes of the course. We learned about several different data structures, including arrays, linked lists, queues, decks, stacks, graphs, trees, binary trees, balanced binary trees, and hash maps. The assignments in this course were by far the most stressful of all of the other classes, probably combined. This was also the course that helped people discern if they wanted to continue in this discipline or move to other endeavors. It was like a battle royale, only the strongest prevailed. I think at the beginning of the semester there were like 50 of us, mid-semester about 40, and I think only about 30 of us took the final. It's rough out here. Going back to the topic of assignments, one of the first really difficult ones was coding our own data structure, which was similar to a linked list. In this assignment, we had to create a bunch of methods to modify the elements within the data structure. To name a few of the methods we needed, I'll just list them off. Print prints the contents within the linked lists. Size outputs how many elements are in the linked list. Add adds an element to the front of the linked list. Search searches the list for a parameter that's passed in, and a few more. Keep in mind that this wasn't using any libraries. We had to make the data structure ourselves, and for someone who barely got out of the programming class the semester prior, this assignment kicked my ass. But I passed. Semester continues, more homework, more data structures, more stress, more notes, more more doubting myself, more everything. The final rolls around, and everything I'd learned throughout the semester and debatably cumulatively for all my comp sci courses had come to pay off. I passed the final with a B. I passed the whole class with a B as well. With this class's content being the most difficult to wrap my head around in the classes I've taken so far, I was actually pleasantly surprised to pass with this grade. So what have I learned from the courses that I've taken so far on this journey? This discipline is not one that you can churn through. It heavily requires you to practice, it requires constantly switching programming languages, and it always requires you to learn something new. If you're thinking of going to college for a computer science related discipline, or if you're thinking of teaching yourself coding, the biggest piece of advice I can give as someone who has just finished some of the beginner courses is that you have to be dedicated to this. It is highly rewarding if you stick to it, and there is data that proves it. I'll put a link in the description that includes some of the statistics regarding job growth, median salaries, and more. And keep in mind, I'm still on my journey to get this degree. Advanced level classes are around the corner for me, so maybe I'll make an update video letting you all know what those are like. I know I haven't uploaded in almost a year, but I hope this video partially explains why. Uni has been whooping my ass these past few months, but I hope that the content in this video is helpful to any new or potential future programmers. Thanks for stopping by.